Hi everybody. Thought I would start the vlogging process with a backstory of how we ended up where the hell we are right now. So in September 2017, I was working on a construction site. I did HVAC. Needed to get something from my truck. I went upstairs through the basement stairs, and in the process of being out in the truck, I came back and the drywallers had covered the stairs over with their platforms for drywalling, and I could no longer get downstairs. It was a hot day, phones ringing off the hook, we had service calls we had to get to, we were trying to finish up work here because the drywallers were not actually supposed to have been there yet, but they came 2 days early. So me, being the infinite smart guy that I am, I thought, oh, the stairs in the middle of the house aren't quite finished yet, so I will just shimmy my way down the pole to the 2x4 down to the platform that's there, and then just quick hop down, and I'm in the basement, and away we go. So I sat on the floor of the first floor of the house, stuck my body under the railing, and the railing came ripping right out of the wall, just a 2x4 security railing, came ripping right out of the wall, and I came sailing down to the concrete floor 10 feet below. The only thing that saved my life, I think, was I stuck my leg out. I just stuck it out straight. It took all the weight of the force, and I fell. And I don't know what really happened. I went to go stand up, realized I could not do that because my leg was buckling, and down I lay down on the floor, and we called an ambulance. Ambulance came, stretchered me out the window of a basement of a construction house, which was fun. And so with that began the long process of recovery and damage. They found at the time that I had exploded my tibial plateau. I'm sorry if it gets graphic. It just happens. But your knee is made up of two bones, your your femur and your tibia fibia. And your knee joint is made up of that. This one exploded. So they put it all back together, put some screws in it, casted it, put it all back together, and said, you'll be fine. And started the process of non-weight bearing for 3 months. Then, stretching and stuff like that, but still non-weight bearing. In January, mid-December, sorry, I started being able to walk on my foot. January, I'm telling them every day it hurts to walk. My knee feels fine. It's weak. My leg is weak, but my foot hurts. And so back and forth with physiotherapy, which I'd been going to 3 days a week, it came about that it was a good idea for me to get some x-rays. So I went and got some x-rays done, and the x-rays said everything was fine. So a few more weeks later, and then I decided it was still super painful, so I decided to get an MRI done. The MRI found at that point that I had 2 broken bones in my foot that were not quite healed properly, that were healing even, and some were shattered. So the first surgery was done to fuse the 2 bones in my foot, the navicular and the cuneiform, and that should have helped stabilize my foot and move on from the future. 3 more months of non-weight bearing, and trying again walking, still sore, painful, no better off than it was before. So had to wait another 3 months till I got to about October, when they said they could take the plate that was used to fuse the bones out, and maybe that would give me some relief. So I take that out, and again, months of walking and trying and physio, still no better, no improvement. So then it was determined to do another fusion. That took place the preceding spring after, in 2019. So they did another fusion. This time they fused my talus bone to my navicular, which is already fused to my cuneiform. 3 more months of non-weight bearing. After this time, we're walking again. It's a little bit better. It's not great, a little bit better. But still nowhere near what anyone expected for me to be able to do. I can't walk very long distances. I can't run anywhere. I have very little rotation of my foot now. It can only move a little bit. I can do up and down. I cannot move side to side or roll my foot at all anymore, which causes a lot of pain walking on uneven ground. So spent a long part of 2019, going back and forth to physio and to the surgeons and discussions. Finally, the CT scan was ordered in October of 2019, where they then I got the results. Sorry, back in December. I got to see them, but I didn't have an appointment with my surgeon until January. The MRI or the CT scan images show that most of the bones of my midfoot have fused together. Some of them are crooked and fusing themselves in. There's potentially one of my metatarsals, which is the parts that make your toes move, has fused in as well. There's substantial nerve damage as well throughout the whole foot. So in January, the recommendation was to amputate. So now I am faced with that agonizing, torturous decision of, do I do that or do I live with it as is? Seeing second opinions. So we went and saw another doctor, got a second opinion, went and talked to the prosthetics clinic as well in all this time. Got some opinions about different procedures and options and outcomes. And it all came back to the same thing of, that's the best solution for getting my life back on track. I've got a wonderful family. I've got a wonderful wife. I've found a really awesome hobby that has kept me occupied and happy and meeting some really amazing people in 3D printing. But I haven't worked in almost 3 years. If it wasn't for WSIB, I would be homeless. If it wasn't for WSIB, we'd have no nothing, because I used to make good money in HVAC and then I got hurt and don't work. So agonizing decision time was made, and in March 2020, so just a few months ago, I signed all the paperwork to agree to having my left foot amputated below the knee, so about mid-calf. The paperwork was signed on a Thursday, and then Friday, the world shut down with COVID-19. And that was it. All elective surgeries were canceled or postponed. Everyone go home, stay home, don't go anywhere, don't do anything, which was fine for me because that's what I was doing anyways. Last Tuesday, I got a phone call asking if I still wanted to go ahead with the procedure, because things in Ontario have gotten better with COVID-19, and so they've started up elective surgeries again. And I reluctantly said, yes, let's go. So now, here we are tomorrow, June 10th, so right now is the 9th. I will be undergoing amputation of my left foot below the knee. And I gotta say, I'm scared. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how it's gonna go forward. I know in the long run it is better, but I know in the short term there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of scary things that can happen. There's a lot of worrying that's going to take place. But I hope that everything works out in the end. And that's the whole reason why I'm doing this, is so that in the end I have a better quality of life to play with my 2 children, who are currently 4 and turning 6 in a month. And I want to play with my kids. I want to be able to help around the house. I want to get a job again. I want to be able to just live as best of a life as I can. And that's what brings us to this. This is going to be a video series. I'm going to vlog the whole process today, tomorrow, next week, everything. Because I know when I was looking into this procedure and everything, I needed to find information. I needed to find people's experiences. It's so easy on the internet to read something, but it's not always an experience. You don't get to know what's happening unless you can see it. Even interact with that person in some capacity. So if you want to leave questions, leave them. Comments, leave them. I'll read as many as I can, respond to as many as I can. And so with that, I just want to start a vlog journey of what's happening, where I'm at, not just for other people to see as a record of what's happening, but for myself as a video record that I can look back on and see where I've come, where I'm going. For the days that I'm getting down, I can look back and see the days that were good. We're going to capture them all. I will do my best to make sure that it is not blood and gore and graphic as best as possible, but that stuff is part of life. I'll put disclaimers on the page whenever that happens. And that's where we're at. I wish I had written a script or something for this, but I didn't, so too bad. You get me rambling for 10 minutes, and we will start this process tomorrow, and we will see how it goes. Thanks.